What's up, guys? Here and welcome to episode 9 of phase 1 of the project Overunner. And this is going to be one of the more technical episodes that I make, while I'm going to try my very best not to bore you with the gory details. Just know that this one took me a while, almost an entire week, to properly do all the research, and I'm going to explain exactly what happened. I'm going to explain what I tried, learned, and ultimately did in my journey to create one-way colliders for my game. Now, this was incredibly frustrating, and even more frustrating because I didn't expect it to be so frustrating. So first of all, I had to research one-way collisions. I had never done one-way collisions before, so I had no experience. So I went on YouTube and started looking, but aside from a 3-year-old video, I didn't really see much of anything. Don't get me wrong, there were tons of videos, but all of them were for 2D, which was quite shocking because in my head, 3D platformers were everywhere. So why couldn't I find one to do with one-way collisions for 3D platformers? So I decided to ditch YouTube and go look on Google, specifically the Unity forums. And while I did find a couple of solutions, none of them were geared towards 3D platformers, as they were for stuff like going through one side of a wall, or falling through the ground, or not being able to jump back out, or they were for 2D. And I cannot overstate how frustrating this was. 3D platformers should be popular, so why? Why was this happening? Oh, and after hours of searching, it hit me. I went to YouTube and looked up 3D platformer, and what I saw put everything into place. You see, when I used to think 3D platformers, I always imagined Sonic OG but 3D, Super Mario OG but 3D, but as it turns out, 3D platformers are actually stuff like Spyro the Dragon, friggin' Super Mario 64. Turns out what I should be looking for was 2.5D platform. And I know it's weird to say since I call my game a 2.5D platformer, but I never thought this was an official thing. And yes, I might have been coding for 5 years or so now, but I was not aware of this, that 2.5D platformers were different from what I had in my head for 3D platformers. I just thought it was a given. Yeah, if you go to many game sites, you never see 2.5D platformer as a genre, so I always thought it was like a gamer slang. Alright then, whatever. You think I should be able to resolve my current issue by looking up 2.5D platformer colliders instead of 3D. But nope, it just ended up doing the same thing. Hell, it was even worse as it began showing me even more 2D search results. But all of my research hadn't been in vain. There were 2 solutions I wished to try that promised to be rather easy to implement. First was to replace my colliders with quads and mesh colliders, as they only read collisions from the front and not the back, in my case the top and not the bottom. So I did this, and at first it seemed to work well. That was until I tried to go through these slopes. And yeah, as you can see, it does not look good. So I decided to try option 2, which was basically the only 3D one-way collision 2.5D video on YouTube. Shout out to Chiron, if that's how you say his name, for being way ahead of its time here. And after going through the video, I got the script, which was very thoroughly explained, but as any developer will know, you can never really explain these things well enough. Anyone who uses this will likely encounter issues and will be forced to modify it, which is what I did. And once I was done with that, I tested it out, and once again it seemed to work well on flat plains, but history would repeat itself on the slopes, which was very frustrating. I think I've said frustrating like 10 times now, but I don't care, that's how frustrated I was. Like, these slopes became the bane of my existence. I tried for days to make the code work with these slopes, because I really believed in the logic of the script, or maybe I was just too scared I wouldn't be able to make something better. So I tweaked, added and removed everything I could and got close, really close, but ultimately it was not meant to be. As no matter how close I got, it just wasn't enough. It still malfunctioned. Instead of 70% now, around 20% of the time. So ultimately, with the help of a partner in code, get it? I decided I was going to write my own code for one-way collision and apply my own logic to my character to make it do what I want. Ultimately, after longer than I'd ever admit and a lot of tweaking, I finally created an almost perfectly working one-way collision system. Thank God for that. Don't get me wrong, it doesn't have any elaborate bugs like the other ones had, but it does sometimes have very subtle twitches. Here, let me show you what I mean. Did you catch that? No? Let's play that again. As you can see, it's very subtle and rarely ever happens. It's very easy to ignore. I mean, I had to try this like 15 times just to get this shot where it did happen. So I'll stick with this and maybe I can tweak the settings a little bit more to get some better results. So if you want to use my 2.5D one-way collision logic, I released a video tutorial script on my Patreon to show you guys how I did my one-way collision. But please be aware that this is how I'm doing it personally for my game, and this script might be up for, how do I put it now, revisiting later in the future. For now, no, but maybe later in the future. There's nothing stopping you from adding or removing or using just the general logic to develop your own. It's not meant to be perfect. It's something I watched after quite a little bit of frustration. But if you like it, you can check it out. The tutorial is on Patreon, so is the pre-made script. But if that doesn't interest you, I've also got character models, assets, animations, an Easter egg, your very own Easter egg in my game, early access to videos, having your name as a supporter at the end of all my videos, and so on and so forth. You know, website links, tutorials, even more tutorials that I'll release in the future. So many things are available for all those who join my Patreon. All you have to do is check it out, see what interests you, and please support me. Alright, that's it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching to the end. You can support my channel by liking the video, leaving a positive comment as it helps the algorithm. You can also subscribe to the channel if you want to keep following the game's development, and you can share the video with anyone you think would be interested in also following the game's development. Again, thanks for watching, God bless, and I will see you next time.